We don't want to be causing a scene. We just want there to be justice. You know, my daughter set out with this initiative because she saw an injustice.
Jessica Murray and her daughter Miriam were looking to buy dozens of these deodorant for Montreal's homeless community. On April 15th, they went to a pharmacy, Uniprix in Sainte-Anne-de-Bellevue on Montreal's West Island. Jessica says staff questioned her and didn't want to sell them 68 deodorants. She claims it was rooted in prejudice.
I said, why is she being so rude to me? And her coworker, instead of being apologetic or brushing it off, she justified it and she said, well, it's not normal to buy this much. She's like, are you opening a store? I said, no, I'm not opening a store. It's for the homeless. And they said, well, normally we have a limit on these kinds of things. And I said, okay, so what's the limit? And they didn't really have an answer. They started stuttering like 3 or 6 or 8. And then she goes on to say, in Quebec, we have limits for these kinds of things. I feel like there's kind of an underlying sentiment that maybe someone who wears this wouldn't know how things work in Quebec.
10-year-old Miriam was with her mom at the time, and she had just raised over $1,200 and was making 70 care packages for the homeless.
In the care packages, there's socks, food, and basic toiletries, and I actually had enough money left over to include a $10 gift card in each one.
The deodorant meant to give dignity to those living on the streets.
Either she just doesn't believe me, she thinks I'm a liar, and that's sad that you would think the first thing about people is that they're a liar. And then the second thing would be, she believes me, that it is for charity, and she doesn't have the compassion.
Masayek Zarziki, the owner-pharmacist of the Sainte Anne Uniprix, acknowledges the manager asked questions to the customers, claiming they didn't want to leave their shelves empty on the long Easter weekend. In a statement to City News, he says there is no limit to the number of items they can buy, but because we are the only pharmacy in Sainte-Anne-de-Bellevue, and that Sainte-Anne-de-Bellevue is a small village with a lot of people who don't own a car and that rely on us, it is a matter of courtesy toward the rest of the population of the village and the pharmacy that usually people who need a large quantity of a certain item ask us in advance to order for them. We often give donations to charities, and if the items were for charity, we could try to work something out, selling cost price, or donate it directly. We just need to know in advance so we can do a special order for a larger quantity of the needed items. Jessica's husband went to the pharmacy after the exchange and started filming the interaction. He then spoke with the owner.
My in-laws, who are white Canadians, went to another Uniprix in Pierrefonds the following day, went to the cashier and said, is there a limit on deodorant? The response was no. They said, are you sure? We're buying upwards of 60 to 80 deodorants. What did the cashier do? He got out from behind the cash and offered to help them load their cart.
The owner of the Sainte Anne Uniprix says there isn't an inch of discrimination in their establishment, and the situation has nothing to do with race. But for Jessica, she feels an injustice took place.
I'm not asking for anyone to be fired. I'm not even asking for a formal apology. These things are unnecessary to me. You know, I can forgive people. It's done. But the idea is that it doesn't happen to other people.
In Montreal, Alyssia Rubertucci, City News.